Hi all, welcome to my Game Week 29 lineups. Been pretty organised with these, try to keep ahead as it were. It gives me time for later in the week to kind of plan out what we may or may not need and take it from there basically. So hopefully you find this all useful. So we have 38 lineups for the game week, 10 that we have not done. Basically no MLS and only one contender to be more precise. We've done all our common squads and everything else. There is the possibility of more in terms of, say, Premier League or La Liga or Eredivisie may arise, but for now, in terms of a limited setup, but at the moment we're still sticking with just the commons and with what we have. So Championship lineup, we have Yanez, Collier, Ortuno, Miller and Boyle. Feel Hibs is the play for this game week as best I can. Collier excites me with it being Brøndby v Copenhagen. Prem squads should both be fine. Basically going with Brentford, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace kind of been my main comforts, with obviously Gabriel bulking that up as well, and obviously Xhaka, who's scoring really well at the moment and easy to kind of justify. Lens at the moment feel like a solid team to kind of go around. Obviously Toulouse as usual, Chevalier for goalie, and then Van Hout seems to be finding a bit of form, and obviously Aubameyang. Liga straightforward. And the thing is, these guys are all just about building up the common essence, building up the eventual crafting that we do for spending, as it were, because at the moment we're currently sitting at around 46k. Time we get maybe into like the weekend, I think once we smash the 50 maybe gives me an idea where we start to commit or not. But at the same time, I'm not rushing to commit because I'd quite like all the credits at once. So I may kind of just wait my time and filter out from there. But going basically Real with a bit of Villarreal and Celta Vigo. Werder Bremen. Like, the thing is as well, if I do commit into the limited perspective, Prem wise will be like Bournemouth, Palace and Brentford. I have kind of said that to people, and some of them are like, gee, just don't do it because you're just going to put money in and it's going to probably not necessarily backfire. It's like, are you really playing for like streaks, or are you playing for actual cash or whatever it is? So it's like, be smart. And like Ligue 1 and La Liga and Bundesliga kind of been the same. Of like Bremen watching Gladbach, kind of been a couple main teams I've looked at, but it's whether they happen or not is a different matter. Like Eredivisie, we are looking at minor adjustments here. We are like Eredivisie rare side is probably Tika might be swapped for someone else, like Resync, for example, but I'll see how I feel. Plenty of time yet. The limited squads, we have two. I could run a third if I put Klaverboer in it, and then it allows me to run one of the classic lads just to give them a use. So there is a chance this could happen, and like I have had a look around, so I might make it happen. Like, I think if I was to move into like a third like Eredivisie squad, for example, it requires me to thin the gallery down, so I'm going to have to kind of maybe do swaps with players like Alex, FC, Satonio, for example. Maybe these guys I'm just going to have to do a bit of wiggle room with. The Challenger squads, we will get a fourth goalie in over Jordan Smith. I have looked around at options. I need to look at other options anyway, with Steskal being here as well. Because he'll be out of action shortly, so if I want to keep everyone in action, we kind of need to make it happen, especially as, like, to be honest, the 4 teams will become 3 and 3 becomes 2, I would suspect, because once Austria and Denmark kind of go out of the equation, it makes things a bit interesting. But this is the team that most excites me. We've got Talisca in with Schenk. Yeah, it was a bit of not persuasion. It took a bit of work with Satonio to get rid of some of my junk rares, and it was basically the price that the Schenk was going for was just like a great deal. And then I was like, what else did Suetonio have in terms of challenger that was like a marquee-ish player that stood out? Talisca was the main kind of option that was ringing out to me, and I was like happy. So I thought Talisca does nicely. This team looks really nice. I could easily put Havel in here, but I felt keeping it, if I'm going to adjust, I would probably put maybe Lawrence over Adams here, maybe keep it like SPFL lads here, do the Austrian lads here, and then obviously kind of keep the mixes there. I'll see how I feel. I've not 100% decided, but I personally think 380 is going to happen. This game week I feel quite happy with what I'm running. It's just if players actually perform, that's the big question. So we'll see what happens in due course. Contender, we only have one squad at the moment. This is just choice of the crafting and what we have. Zelenecker, Teddy Tuma, Carl Johansson, João Ferreira and Dubison. I'm going to have to swap out João Ferreira most likely, so I will have to scout about for an in-season extra slot, so I will see who's floating around. Champion wise, generally happy with these. Obviously thinned down quite nicely. Palace, Vallecano, Mallorca, Everton, hints much in Gladbach. This team excites me in the sense of everyone's got favourable fixtures apart for Zayan and Sells, but I feel Toulouse lads of like Cáceres can do big damage. Hopefully Lefort against Toulouse, obviously Ferrangiers should still put good numbers in. Tamari and Simeone favourable fixtures, but obviously Torino v Como, we're trying to hope and pray that Butes keeps the clean sheet and Simeone maybe just gets good AA. It's joys of compare and contrast. This is one of the teams this game week that really excites me. I was initially put Komisana here, but Ganagay I feel is the better option. I feel like he can put good numbers in against Manchester United. Then from there, another exciting team like the Mallorca lads have decided to start obviously phasing in a bit more again. Maffeo, Majica, all putting in massive AAs now, and it's kind of hard to ignore really. Obviously Schenk is the third rare under 23 goalie that is now in the collection. Kept Magia as captain again. I was tempted to go Bowie, but I will probably adjust maybe later if I hear more info. But both squads favourable in a sense, as long as Vipotnik and Saito start. That's really all we're needing. Lancashire should start as well. Astley we've just got to kind of run with because he's consistent, but obviously it's Hibs v Dundee, so hey ho. Limited squad wise, all fun looking squads. This team has potential to be serious. Shada and Uatara, big numbers last time before the break. Mulligan same as well. Soppy, Crumry, Penetra's got a favourable fixture v Herenven, and Yamamoto, as I said, can just come like in before this is like a 600 point squad and you'd be laughing, but you never know. Bowie obviously we've captained here, but it's just because obviously from a limited point of view I feel like Zabarna's a bit too much of a risk, but you never know. Never two squads, good seeing Bazuna back and hopefully remains in. Cho we've captained for now, but obviously because we've thinned the gallery quite a bit, it makes some options a bit lighter. Maybe not as impressive, but it allows me time to kind of monitor things a bit and see how we improve. Hopefully get all our squads back into Division 2 for All-Star Rare. This team has potential to get into Division 1 Rare. Obviously the Millwall lads, and hopefully Sakamoto starts and just delivers a big 100 point game would be lovely. Hibs lads, see how they produce. Obviously Campbell going into the weakest squad, only because he's going most likely off the bench. And as I was saying on stream when I was building these squads, is my challenge is that I do need to start. If I'm going to have the fourth squad, I need to look at bulking up a little bit. It is important to note as well, Otero is missing because he's still out injured. So, and some of the J1 lads like Kono are missing as well. So there would have been extra depth across these squads that would have helped, and that's what makes contender missing as well. So it's important to note, like, it feels weird having no Portuguese league players and being in Division 2 for 3 of the teams. We'd like to get into Division 1 with all the teams, and then we'd be laughing. But this team has huge potential. Lauritsen, Burgess, El Caruani. Like, El Caruani, for me, I feel is a 100-point player this game week. Malo should be an easy 60-70 points. Then he's pushing nearer 80 for your cap performance, because it's like depending on, because he's at 12%. Dawan 10%. Favourable fixture, obviously not playing at a Marson against them, but and I've not lined them up, but nonetheless still feel quite confident. This is another series squad. Araki, Park Chang-yong, Sakamoto, all potential for big numbers. Del's same applies. I've only ran one of them, so I might field another, but like, we'll see how it goes. There's favourable squads across the board. The X-Team's been bold going here, maybe, I suppose, but I'm quite hopeful with what we're running. Being bold with Correa, but hopefully he can come back to form in due course. See how it all plans out. As I said, it's a bit more gallery filling is kind of needed, as I said. And once, like, J1's not got long left, and obviously MLS is due to wrap up as well, so we're going to be a bit thinner in terms of a few competitions, but we'll see how it goes and we will take it from there. But if we can make it happen, we can make it happen. I'd quite like to get into Prem, I'd like to get into La Liga, I'd quite like maybe even Ligue 1 and Bundesliga, but obviously Ligue 1 we didn't bother with because we got Pardo, took the funds at like 18 quid at the time, so I was like, rather have that. But food for thought, see how it goes and see what we can put together. Well, let me know, folks, what you run for game week 29 and all that good stuff. Take it easy, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you all later.